Welcome everyone to the Super Affiliate Network Inner Circle Coaching Call. I am your host, Nancy Kirkham. Glad to have you on the call. I'm just going to make sure we are live, and that should just populate real soon on my phone. But let me know in the comments if you can hear me. I hope everyone is having a fantastic Monday or Tuesday, depending where you're tuning in from. So let us know how you're doing. Let us know where you're coming in from. Drop a 1 in the comments if this is new to you. So if this is your first time dropping into one of our lives, let us know by dropping a 1 in the comments. So these lives we do here each week, everyone, they're designed to help you in your online business by giving you the latest strategies that are working now. So make sure you stick around because you're not going to want to miss anything that we're talking about. So we interview a top industry producer in the online marketing space, and today we have the amazing Richard Guzman. But you like to go as Rich, right?
Yeah, everybody calls me Rich.
Everybody calls you Rich. That's great.
Yeah.
So welcome to the call. We're glad to have you on the call tonight.
Well, it's good to be here.
Good. Yeah. So I'm super excited. I've gotten to know you, Rich, and Ace. A lot of our members know you as Ace and Rich. But there's a lot of new members that are just dropping in, and so we'd love to hear a little bit more about you. And so just before we get started on your story, while everyone is watching, please give us some likes, shares, and hearts. And if you have any questions while we're doing our little thing here, our interview with Rich, drop them in the comment box, and I'll be sure to check them out.
Cool.
So, Rich, how's it going? It's I know you usually work a long day on Mondays. Is that correct? You've probably been coaching a few people today.
Yeah.
Stuff.
Yeah, coaching. No, I'm nonstop. Ace is doing the coaching for this week. I'll be starting next week, coaching, and we're going pretty intense and pretty deep on the next level of coaching that we're doing. So, but as far as my story, I'm gonna just take you guys a step back because there's some things you probably don't know about me, even the people that know me. So, I want to just show you how it all started for me. Back in 2008, well, let me go back to 2007. I was online and I was watching a YouTube video and I started seeing like these people talk about, changing their lives and making money and all this kind of stuff, right? Just a lot of good stuff that got my attention. And at the time I was working at Best Buy and I was also in a band. And we were recording our second album, our second CD. And we had a producer and things were going pretty good, pretty serious. So what happened was I watched this person on video for over a year. Well, pretty much about a year, which is kind of ironic. Exactly a year, actually. And I was curious to know, like, what is it that this person's doing and why am I interested in this? I'm so intrigued. It was just so fascinating to me that people were, making money online and having freedom and things like that. And I was just like, I paid attention, and a year later, the band, things weren't working out so well because I wanted to take it more like a business, take it more seriously, but they weren't really seeing it the same way that I was seeing it. And I'm like, I'm not going back to the basement and starting over again. It was just that kind of discussion. And I said, I'm done. So I walked out of the studio that night and I ended up going on my computer that evening. And that was August of 2008. So 2007, for a year, I've been watching this person. And then 2008, in August, I literally just had enough, right? So that's just a hint for you guys. People are watching you even if you think they're not watching, okay? Because they'll buy when they're ready, right? So what happened was I got started and I didn't know anything about marketing at all. Like I squat. I was a musician, right? I was like, I built computers and worked at Geek Squad, and this is who I am. And then all of a sudden, like I learned, that marketing. There's a whole new world of marketing here, and what's marketing, And when I got involved, I said, oh, I could handle this. I was naive. I could handle this. This is cool. And then once I dove right in, I was like, oh my God, look at these people making like, 50 grand a month, 100 grand a month and all this stuff. And I'm like, oh, life's going to be great. This is exciting, But the reality is I was really naive and I didn't realize that this was a whole different animal. It's a whole different way of building a business. You know what I mean? So when I actually took that step and started learning, the education of online marketing, which was my first company in 2008. I started learning some things. I started doing advertising. I started learning about YouTube. I started learning about, different things online that you see people do now. But it was definitely different back then. And what I noticed was I made a little bit of money, not enough to, fire my boss or be free, all that kind of stuff. But I made like, 1,000 here, 1,000 there, and I was like, oh, wow, I can make money. This is cool. It works, But I'm like, but how are these guys making so much money? Well, what I realize now, what I didn't do before, you know, I didn't do really that much investing as much as I should have, right? To really invest more in myself. And that was something that I if I can go back in time and tell myself what to do, that's what I would tell myself to do. So what happened was, I went to my first event. I sold my motorcycle to go to my first event. Got to my first event, learned about the industry, I met some many great people, and it was just, I realized it's a whole new world, I knew I was home. I felt like home to me. I'm like, wow, I really like this. I like the atmosphere. I like the mindset. I like the way people are thinking. I like, hanging out with the movers and shakers, and then, I go back home and I get to work and I'm struggling. You know what I mean? I'm really trying to make this work. I'm really struggling. I'm going, why is it that I only can make like a sale here and there, and I'm not, building like, 5,000 a month or 10,000 a month or 20,000 a month? Why is it I'm seeing these guys like they're literally just crushing it, and me, I'm struggling? Well, from there, I kept struggling, and a year later, I got introduced to a different opportunity, and it was like an online travel MLM opportunity. And this person approached me 3 times. I kept saying no because I'm a stickler when it comes to being focused, right? I'm like, okay, well, I got to learn, just like when I learned to play guitar. Like I taught myself how to play guitar over the years and became professional. So I'm a stickler when it comes to focus when I want to learn something. So what happened was I'm like, no, I'm okay over here. I'm learning marketing and I know I'm going to figure this out. I just got to stay focused over here. So I ended up going to this company after the 3rd try, and I literally crushed it. Like I could not believe the timing, what happened, bringing people in, and I became international diamond, made 6 figures. I was getting bonus checks. Things were just ridiculous because it happened so fast. When it happened very, very fast, right? So that's when I began to feel the taste of success. I was like, oh, this is great. I have money now, like 10, 20 grand a month. Oh, and I know what it feels like now. Oh, bonus checks. Oh, this is great, and it, it got to like 30 in 1 month. Like it was just I was living the life. It was awesome. So I was traveling all over the country. I ended up traveling to Vegas quite a bit, and I was starting to start a new opportunity at the same time because I was building something else up, and it was great because I wanted to go to that live event. See, guys, live events are very important, just to let you know. And I always was told this. That's why I always go live events. So what happened was I ended up going to this other company's live event. And as soon as I got there, I remember seeing familiar faces, right, that I've seen online. And then I remember one guy, like I was talking to this couple, and they came to me, and they're more like old school, like belly to belly, giving you a card physically offline, And what happened was I went up to them and I was like, oh, hi, my name is Rich Guzman. Nice to meet you. And they told me their name, so-and-so. And they're like, they gave me their card. And I was just like, oh, thank you. Thank you for your card, And I said, well, do you have a card? I go, no, I don't. But here's my website, like in my phone. Because I was like, it's more technology. And they were older and stuff. And then all of a sudden I see this guy. He just comes along and slides right in the middle. And he's like, oh, my God, Rich Guzman, how you doing? I'm like, what? Like, who's this guy? I'm like, oh, wait a minute. I've seen this guy before, and I've seen him online. And you know what he asked me? He said, Rich, how would you like to come on the stage and share some of your video marketing tips? And I was like, sure. Because, hey, when success shows up, you don't want to hesitate, right? You just want to just take action, right? So taking perfect action, I said, sure. And that was my first time going on stage, not as a musician, but as a speaker. And that was a different, totally different from being in a band. So when we slid right in the middle of this conversation I was having with this couple, he was like, "You don't know Rich Guzman? What are you guys living under a rock? He's like all over YouTube and all this kind of stuff." Because I've had multiple YouTube channels over the years, and so he's like, "Yeah, I'll let you know when it come up and everything else like that." So the event starts, and he asked me to come up on stage. And the funny thing is, if I reflect back to 2008 when I first got started with that opportunity, and I watched those people have success and everything, they were coached by a certain individual. And I watched them on the DVD. It was called The Business in the Box. And you would get the DVD, and you would watch the DVD, and you would watch like the different live events that were going on. And one of the live events was a certain coach. His name was Jeffrey. And I remember watching that DVD and going, that man is going to be my coach one day. And what was ironic when I joined the other opportunity and I went to the live event and I got asked to talk on stage by surprise, because that wasn't expected. That same day in that same event, I was sharing the stage with that man. I was like, whoa, this is heavy. This is pretty deep. You know what I mean? So he's like, that day I talked on stage. I shared some video marketing tips, and that was a rush because I had no band to back me up, right? It was just me speaking on stage. So I think Dwayne, he gave me that opportunity, and I always appreciate what he did. So from there, I watched the rest of the event, right? And I watched that man speak, which was soon to be my coach. He's a millionaire. He's coached movie stars, athletes. Like, this guy is known for very, very well, very good coaching. So that day, like, he locked eyes with me, and my eyes were locked with him for some reason. Like, he knew that I was focused on him. And then immediately he was asking me a lot of questions while he was on the stage live doing his presentation. And then he would ask me questions, and immediately I was like, bang, 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 just answering them. And then immediately when he was done, with the stage, he got off the stage and he walked off the stage, and he told me, he's like, I want to see you in my booth. It's like that. I'm like, ooh, I was nervous. You know what I mean? So I go there, I talked to him, and then we just got to know each other. And I was like, hey, Jeffrey, I've seen you coach many great people in that first company I was a part of, which was Carbon Copy Pro. And he's like, oh yeah, no, I've done a lot of coaching with a lot of members there and stuff like that. It's like, and I know that you could benefit from my coaching as well. Just like that. Like, he's so like a matter of fact, you know what I mean? And I'm like, yeah, I definitely do want your coaching. Like, I didn't hesitate. I signed the paperwork and everything. It was a 3-day chance to go be with him for 3 days and spend time with him. I got picked up in a limo from the airport, went to his place, chilled out, spent 3 days with the event and everything. And it was an amazing experience. I learned a lot about myself. I thought I was going to learn about making money, and I didn't. That's not what I learned. I learned about myself. I learned about things that, I didn't want to see. You know what I mean? Like, look in the, he makes you look in the mirror, metaphorically, and realize, like, this is why you're broken. Why you're broken, and this is why you see a lot of people try to have success, and they don't have success because they never look within themselves, and they look at, externally, but they never look internally. And he talked about the relationship with money, how you need to have a better relationship with money, and all psychological things that happen over the years. Like, he just went to some amazing things. So at the end of those 3 days, I had a big transformation, and the event was called Breakthroughs to Success. So I did have a huge breakthrough that weekend. I came back a totally different person. But at the same time, when I flew back from that event, I had to fly to Florida, right? I was flying all over the place. And I flew to Florida, and I spent 3 days with Dwayne, the one who asked me to talk on stage, because I won a competition in Las Vegas. And the one that wins the competition is the one that actually gets to spend 3 days with Dwayne. And Dwayne's a millionaire. So here I go with a millionaire in California for 3 days. Now I'm going over in Florida and West Palm Beach for 3 days with Dwayne. So I learned a lot of knowledge about entrepreneurism and really just, personal development, a lot of personal development, definitely needed. And it taught me about, like, how to really take responsibility for yourself and your actions. Even when you make a mistake and even when you screw up, take that responsibility, even though we don't want to hear that word responsibility. we have to take it in, and we have to realize that it's us who are in control of our destiny. So what happened was, as we were going okay with the company and everything, 2010 rolled around. April was the time I went to see Jeffrey for 3 days in California, Stockton, California, and then when I went back, just not even a week later, to go to West Palm Beach. That's how close they were together. When I got back, I had some shocking news, and the shocking news was that the company that I was a part of, that I was making a lot of great money, that I was traveling, and I was going to the Caribbean, and I was all over the country. I was so excited because the reason I got started in this industry was to travel. That was my number one goal. And when I got back, we found out that the company wasn't doing great, and people were dropping off. They were leaving because the owner didn't fulfill certain obligations that he said he was going to fulfill. And what happened was people were losing faith. My check started, just dwindling really small. I mean, really small. And to the point that I wasn't making hardly any money at all. Very fast, it just went away. But I remember, if it wasn't for the coaching that I had, I wouldn't know how to handle that situation. So here we are in April. I go see Jeffrey for 3 days. Here we are, and a week or two later, going to see Dwayne Golden in West Palm Beach. I get back home after that weekend deal in West Palm Beach, and this is happening. And then things are just not looking good. Like I'm like feeling really down and everything, and then that's when I met Anastasia in 2010. I met her in June in 2010. And from there we met, and I was still making money, and maybe like 5,000 a month. It was still floating, right? It was still floating, but it got to the point that was just getting really dire straits, like really, really bad. And when we met, I ended up moving in with her and her family, and that's when we met. So she was in the network marketing, and of course I was in the high ticket affiliate marketing. And she was struggling with her network marketing business, and I try to help her and give her some advice and things like that. So I help her check go from like $10 a month to a couple $100 a month, right, in the network marketing, just to give her some ideas. And then from there, she wanted to know what I was doing, because she was like, I don't know how you're doing it, but you're making like $5,000 over there behind me, in a month, and I'm only making like a couple $100, that you help me with. I give, what are you doing, I said, okay, well, if you want me to show you this, you have to make me a promise that everything I tell you to do, you definitely want to learn it, and don't give up easily. I'm not going to give it to you just because I know you. Okay. I want you to earn it, so you respect it, you understand it more. So that's the thing about, me and Ace. A lot of people don't know that, but just because, we're together, she never had it easy. I was really kind of hard on her, because I wanted her to earn it. I wanted her to really appreciate the journey, and it could be from the coaching that I've gotten, because my coach was hard on me. You know what I mean? So, because I care about her, I wanted her to do good. So she started learning, and, we're still making money. I remember taking her to, Las Vegas that Christmas in 2010. And, we just became a couple, you know what I mean? And it was awesome. I mean, when we were together for 6 months before we were like in a serious, deep, committed, relations, so to speak. It's 6 months, because we just love each other's company so much, Then from there, the money started going away. Things were getting really, really bad. And then it just got really bad. And I moved in with my dad. She came with me. She took her son, and it was hard to do that in front of her family, because she said, I see something happening here, and I don't want to stay here. If I stay here, my life is never going to change. She came with me over my dad's. And I lived with my dad for a while in assisted living area. And then from there, that's when we ended up moving back to Massachusetts, where I used to live. And when I came back to Massachusetts, my friend Scott, when she passed away, God rest his soul, he said, Rich, you could stay with me and my girlfriend. I'm like, oh my God, great, because I just called my job and I'm going to get my job back. Right? Because remember, I left Best Buy because I had success. I didn't need my job anymore the first time around, right? And then I ended up going back to work, same building, same manager, same everything. And then, but I had a different mindset when I went out to work. So that interview was golden. Everything worked out great. I had to get to Massachusetts. So when I moved in with my friend and his girlfriend, he ended up going to jail. And then we found out that, a whole bunch of crazy stuff was happening. So that girlfriend had to leave the house and go to a trailer in Chicopee, Mass. We had to go with her because we had nowhere to go. I had my job, which was great, but I still had we had nowhere to go. So, because I'm saving up every nickel and cranny, all the money and stuff, for an apartment. So what happened was, we ended up going to this trailer, and the room was like a closet space size, like literally that small. And from there, we found out that, my friend's ex-girlfriend now, of course, she was a heroin addict, and we didn't even know. And there were drug addicts coming in the house. One day, my laptop got stolen. My MacBook Pro 17-inch got stolen. You know how expensive those things are. Because I brought that as a foundation. That was the first thing I purchased when I had success with that company, right? The MLM travel company. That was the first thing I brought myself to celebrate my success, to keep growing my business. And that was stolen. So it meant a lot to me. And then from there, so it was just crazy. It was horrible. I mean, what was happening. And then from there, I come home from work one day, and all of a sudden Anastasia's frantic, and she's like putting all this stuff in a trash bag. And she's like, "We're getting out of here." And I'm like, "What are you talking about?" She goes, "People are calling me, telling me they're going to come to the house, and they're threatening our lives. And I lived in the ghetto, and I understand this kind of stuff, and I don't want to be here." I go, "Where are we going to go?" She goes, "Well, I'm going to a motel right now. I don't care." And I'm like, "Well, we're saving money. We're doing good. Let's not be too hasty here." Like, "No, I am out, and let's go." So I ended up taking some of my stuff and putting it in my mom's basement, and we packed up the stuff in the car. And I said, "Look, if we're going to a motel, we're going to Enfield, Connecticut, which is about 30 minutes away over the line in Massachusetts, where my job was in Best Buy." And I said, "We're going to a motel right next to Best Buy where I know where it is, because that way I don't have to waste gas. I keep saving money." So we went to the motel, and on those days we were homeless, we were still blogging. We were still like, writing content, just content. We didn't have no money, so it was content. Doing two blog posts a day. We did that for like 3 years straight. We're part of another company, another high ticket company, and we just try to build that up. And no matter how much we try to build that up, there it goes again, $1,000 here, $1,000 there. And nothing just seemed to break. It was so frustrating, So we ended up getting an apartment, being in a motel for a little while. And, she kept digging and just digging and digging. And we got approved for this apartment, which this is it right here. And, we ended up moving in. It was a blessing. We didn't have no furniture, but I did have my desktops, my computers that I've always built, that I've always had for years. And I ended up getting like a secondhand desk just to have a desk. I brought my first, actually the first furniture was a whiteboard, which is right here, the big whiteboard here. And that was the first thing I brought. And I started drawing formulas on the board, like, okay, follow-up email, square one, square two, email number one, email. Like I was just drawing formulas on the board and thinking of ideas, just to test things, And so we kept doing that, and we just kept struggling. I mean, just kept struggling and struggling and struggling. But, I had the job, and I learned from my mentor, Jeffrey. He says, your job is needed, because sometimes I had to go back to work because, of my failures in the past. So if you ever get in that scenario, you do what you got to do as an entrepreneur.
Mm-hmm.
So my mindset was shifted. When I was at work, it was complete focus work. When I was at home, it was complete, like, business time. And I had that balance just right, And I started creating more capital with my job because I had part-time. And then I said, look, I'm going to apply for full-time. They gave me full-time. And oh man, yeah, I got more money now. So I got more money now. Ace is at work. She's working part-time. I'm working full-time. And now we're starting to, really help each other out here. Right. Mm-hmm. And so what happened was in 2016 of January, okay, mm-hmm. Patty Sheeler was is still my friend. Somebody I met online in 2008. She introduced me to Misha. She said, "You ever heard of this guy named Misha Wilson?" I said, "No." I was like, "Yeah, he's in Elite Marketing Pro. He's on the all-time leaderboard." And I'm like, "What?" I was like, and so guess what? I look at the leaderboards because I had a membership in Elite Marketing Pro, right? Hey guys, we're like shiny object syndrome back then. So just to let you know. So I look at the
Me
leaderboard.
too.
Yeah, I look at the leaderboard, and I see Misha next to Jay Kubasek, which was the owner of Carbon Copy Pro, that first high ticket in 2008. I'm like, oh my God, isn't that awesome? There's a connection here. So I said, well, wait a minute. If he's on the all-time leaderboard and he's next to Jay Kubasek, this guy must know something. So I got on his list. So I started receiving emails from Misha. Then I got an email. Ace don't know nothing about this stuff. I got on his list, got an email, and it was the first introduction to sand. Wow. So what happened was, got that email. I was just like, maybe this will work, maybe it'll work. So I opened up the email and they're telling me I can do $1 trial, for what it is, what Super Affiliate Network is today, right? It's $1 trial. And then they're like, no, you can save $10 a month if you do 37 a month. I said, well, my God, my last opportunity I'm doing right now is 97 a month. Sure, I'll do 37 a month. Why not? I'm almost paying $100 a month here. 37 is nothing. So I go in there and I start going through the boot camp, and I tell Ace, I go, honey, I signed up for something now. She's like, why? We're just getting better at what we're doing. We're learning, we're growing, we're blogging and all this stuff. And I'm like, yeah, but something doesn't seem right to me. I think this system is broken. So I go over here and then we start going through the boot camp. She goes, okay, I trust you. We go in, then we do the boot camp. We lock the door in this very room. And we went through that boot camp. Literally, guys, boot camp was a lot bigger than what it is today. A lot bigger, a lot longer. So we literally sat there and just totally just immersed ourselves with each video, each phase. And we literally watched the video first, no notes, watched the same one again, then took notes. And we did every single video, every single phase. And at the time, John Pierre was our coach. John Pierre was like, wow, you guys are flying. And we kept them busy. So what was happening during that time in the other company we were in, people were asking questions, but nobody was answering their questions. They knew who we were. So we were creating content on YouTube constantly. So we were answering people's questions to help them, right? People were adding us on Facebook. They were going into our YouTube, subscribing. And all of a sudden, people are just watching our content every day. And then all of a sudden, as we're learning about what's going on in the boot camp and we're learning what Misha's teaching, I started driving traffic, with solo ads more. Started seeing a lot of leads come in. No sales yet, just a lot of leads coming in. And we make a milestone post on Facebook. It's like, oh my God, I just generated 100 leads in freaking 24 hours or 48 hours. Oh my God, I never generated this many leads in my life in that short period of time. And people are like, how'd you generate those leads? Oh my God, I'm struggling trying to generate leads. Can you help us? And I'm like, yes, I can show you the way. Here's the link. So they were coming in. So, and then they started going to boot camp. Now, Misha said, not Misha, but John Pierre was our coach. He said, look, he says, guys, this is pro. You're going to want to go pro. Here's the problem. We don't have no money. How are we supposed to go pro? Well, luckily, I had the job to fund the dreams, right? And what we did, think about it, right? January, February, March, we got started in early March, right? What is tax season? We got our tax money. That tax money, and we put it into pro immediately. No questions asked. We got resourceful, right? And then we're going through the boot camp. Maui Intensive shows up. What? There's a Maui? What's this? You go to Hawaii, right? You go to spend 3 days with Misha, right? And then a fun day. I'm like, what is this? I'm like, I gotta pay this much? How am I gonna do this? But we were hustling so much. We had so many people coming in that we were able to pay for Maui Intensive. Because people were literally hungry for training like the boot camp the way it is. That solves so many problems. That education is second. I look at that stuff, I'm just saying, education is just second to none. You know what I mean? So we went to Maui Intensive, went all in, and then from there, that's when we earned over 42K in 15 weeks. And it just kept growing from there nonstop, driving traffic constantly, doing about 14,000 clicks a month, like just ridiculous numbers, right? And it was just increasing and increasing and increasing. But I learned something through this journey. You could be doing everything right, but if you don't have the right system, and if you don't have the right mentorship with that system, it's harder to break through that barrier. You know what I mean? When you're trying to get past that 1,000 here, 1,000 there, you know what I mean? It's hard to break through that barrier because it's not just about the system, it's about the education that the super affiliate network teaches. And what I mean by that is if you guys are pro, and you guys, especially if you're all in, the top accelerator, oh my God, like what's back there, I'm teaching you to take more control of your business. I mean, that what me and Ace are doing now, we got some top secret stuff we can't even share with anybody because it's really that deep, right? We're talking like advanced stuff that I don't think people are doing yet. It's literally like, if it wasn't for the mentorship, right, and the coaching that we got from Misha, it wouldn't put us in that place of being uncomfortable to actually do those kind of things, if that makes sense, right? To keep growing. Because the system is designed to teach you to be an entrepreneur. Most systems designed to teach you how to sell their stuff. But this system teaches you to be an entrepreneur. I think that's what separates SAN from all the other things I've seen. Because once you go deep and you go all in and you get coaching from Misha, that's when you start to take it to a whole new level. That's when you start to go, oh, okay, I see what's going on now. I see what I'm supposed to be doing in my business for me to grow as an entrepreneur and become self-sufficient. And that is huge. I don't see anybody teaching that kind of stuff online. I really don't. And I think that's why we really did so well, with SAN, is because, the way that everything is structured and the mentorship and the coaching. I mean, when Maui Intensive, I have a soft spot for Maui Intensive. Like the stuff I learned in Maui Intensive, oh my God. I said, why wasn't I taught this before? It's like, were they like keeping it a secret or something? Because they wanted like all the wealth to them. You know what I mean? But, man, what they taught Maui, like what Misha taught Maui Intensive, like I sat back there like this, and I looked and I was just like, because I learned a lot of marketing over the years, but when I got that stuff from Maui Intensive, I was just like, I'm like, Misha, oh my God, you're a genius, dude. Like where you learn this stuff from, and it's just amazing, That's why I see a lot of people come back from Maui Intensive. They're like, oh my God. I'm like, yeah, isn't it awesome? Because you just totally learned something that's so unfamiliar to you. Nothing's hard, it's just different. It's unfamiliar. You don't know it yet because it's unfamiliar, but just take it in. Take it in, because that stuff is priceless. You can't put a price tag on the education. And the top accelerator, just look back there. You can't put a price tag on that. It's a complete 6-figure ecosystem. Amazing. So, yeah. So, yeah, that's my story, guys. I mean, I'm sure there's a little bit more in between. I went to see Abraham Hicks in 2008. I got asked to speak on the hot seat. That's when I walked into the studio that night and said, guys, I'm out. I walked out of the studio from the band, and I left the band and started my journey in entrepreneurship. I forgot to put that part in.
Well, that's amazing, Rich. It sounds like it's been quite the roller coaster ride.
Yeah.
But what I love is just your willingness, that burning desire, and that willingness not to give up.
I know. I don't have like maybe it came from like wanting to succeed in a band so much. How many months and years it takes playing in the basement, playing like small venues, and then us going into national stages, and me open up for my favorite band, Fear Factory. I literally got to hang out with my idol. You know what I mean? Like play a big national stage and experience a huge crowd, and like to have that. That's called that relentless, never giving up attitude. You know what I mean? But I realized that was going to take me so far because I had to have 4 other people see the same vision that I saw. and it's hard. It really is. But when I, entered this space, I knew that it was me that had to really take control and be responsible for my mistakes. That's number one. And I'm still making mistakes. Everybody, you always got to feel forward. I'm still making mistakes because now I'm doing new things that I never done before, but I'm making mistakes to learn how to not make those mistakes as I keep going forward. Right? It's so true, guys. That's the only way to grow is to fail forward. You cannot grow unless you fail forward. Everybody learns differently. Everybody grows differently. But the people who fail are the ones that give up immediately and quit. So, yeah.
Now, I'm just going to say hello to who we've got on the call, and then we can take that question. So if you got any questions, guys, pop them in the comments. But let's see who's on the call. Mark and Dana, welcome. Chris, Kanisha, welcome to the Inner Circle Coaching Call. We've got Lamar, Sophia, Don Wilkie,
Hey, guys.
We've got Suchitra. I hope I said that right. We've got Billy, Whitman, Sharon, welcome to the call. She calls you an ace power couple. That they are.
Thank you.
And Dee Dee. So looks like Don's got a question for you.
Excellent.
I just dropped it in the. Can you see that, Rich?
Yep, I can see the question. Awesome.
Okay, great.
So it says, Rich, is it right to build up your financial padding to run solo ads consistently? If so, what amount should that padding be? I'm going to spill the beans because for me, I feel I want to become a really, really good at serving. One thing about me and Ace is we're always trying to serve the best way that we can. We love to serve. We love to serve and really help people. For me, in the beginning, I always, that job really funded my dreams because even though we were still bringing people in from a different opportunity because they were following us on Facebook and everything, that didn't last. We still had to sustain it, right? So it was always those solo ads running every single week into the system. Let's talk about that for a second because we were running into the system from March all the way to the end of October. Because in that midst of running into the system, Misha was asking us to show up with our work. Okay, like top accelerator, right? That's what I'm saying. We have to show up with our work. So when you guys go to the training, okay, make sure you show up with your work because this is how I learn. Yes, that's how I learn, guys. I showed up with the information and I learned on how to write better emails because Misha helped me. Okay. So when you are actually running solo ads consistently, you have to start with the right number. So everybody wants to know what the magic number is to really get momentum going. If you want to get the right momentum going, I like to do about 2,000 clicks a week, minimum. That's my minimum 2,000 clicks a week is the minimum. And you can pay different prices. It can be very like 60 cents, 70 cents a click. It can be 45 cents a click if you know the vendor very well. You taught them down. But it depends on your budget. You have to look at your budget, right? For me, when I didn't have much of a budget in the very beginning, I did like 200 clicks a week, 500 clicks a week, right? And when full time was doing 1,000 clicks a week. Remember my job only I was part time. Then went full time, so I doing 1,000 clicks a week. Then from there, with the commissions and my work money, I set up my job an extra year. I didn't have to, but I did because I wanted to keep that income coming in, right? To keep funding my dreams. And I took that capital and I reinvested into traffic every single week, right? So I would do 2,000 clicks minimum a week, and if that's too much, just start at 500 clicks a week. See what offers that you could, what deals you can make with the solo ad vendors. And don't look back. Don't get attached emotionally to if a sale didn't come in or if things didn't work out the way you expected, right? It's the consistency over a long period of time that wins out more than the failure. That's really the truth. If you let like something that goes wrong, that will cause inconsistency in your business, and it will play with your mindset, and it'll play with your emotions. So don't do that. Yeah. Oh, you're welcome, Don. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, if you run about like, 2,000 clicks a week, and you're running at a pretty good opt-in rate, like 40% plus, you're going to be generating like over 100 leads a day on average. So, and those are the numbers you want. If you're doing about 1,000 clicks, you're running about probably 50 leads a day on average.
Good question, John, so thank you.
Oh, you're welcome.
If you have any other questions, guys, pop them in the comments. We've got Tracy Lee on the call. Welcome. And
hey,
Anna.
Tracy.
We've got Anna Arguello on the call, so welcome to the call.
Hi, Anna.
Awesome. So guys, give us some likes, give us some hearts, and give us some shares while you're watching. So Rich, just as we wrap up the call, everyone sees the awesome success that you are creating. Ace is creating, you guys together as this awesome, dynamic power couple. But not everybody sees the behind the scenes. I mean, you shared your story, and it's, you've gone through quite a bit, but just recently, how do you deal with stuff that comes up now in this time of your business that you're kind of growing to that next level? What are some of the things that you can share with everyone watching?
Scary. It's scary. Yeah, I think the best way to describe it. I want to be vulnerable here, but because I'm a very transparent, honest person here. There's moments I'm scared.
Mm-hmm.
I get very scared because it's doing stuff that has never been done before. But what gets me past being scared is how bad I want my life to transform.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like for the better. More abundance, right? More freedom, right? All those things really matter, to me and Ace. But the most important thing that matters to us more than anything is we want to bring people along with us. I mean, that's the thing that keeps us going. If we don't do what we're creating now, that's pretty much like top secret. It's not worth it. When it comes to touching someone else's lives and helping them, let's talk about the metaphor about the Matrix. If we could, unplug people and tell them there's a better way by fixing what's up here and teaching them the skill sets to follow, then we done our job on this planet, right? If we don't, if we're just thinking about ourselves, it ends with ourselves, right? And that's to me that's not a way to live. We've always me. That's one thing about me and Ace that we always see eye to eye, is that we're always creating things to touch other people's lives, to help them grow and to be better so they can get results. And I always say at the end of the day, it's all about getting results. That's what we focus on.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That's great. Let me just see if somebody, John says, I really feel that if I just get consistent with solo ad traffic, the follow-up will push me through to the breakthrough. And that's how you got started, Rich.
Yeah.
Mostly solo ads.
I mean, back in the day, I did Google AdWords in 2008. I've done a lot of different traffic sources. But when it comes to not being consistent with, running advertising, it's a relationship with money. Because the hardest thing people to face is to, really more invest into their business on a consistent basis. Because once someone has money, it's difficult to let it go because of the way they were brought up. We were taught to hang on to it, pay our bills, and do all that stuff. And if we don't, we're going to lose money. But the more that we let it go, the more that we grow, which is kind of ironic. And it's the opposite of what we've ever been taught. So what I've learned is that I have to let it go. Even in the days that I have much money, I still let it go. And I think, and let's take a step back here. What if I thought differently back in 2016 when I got that email? Mm-hmm. What if I said, Misha, John Pierre was our coach. I said, I can't go pro, dude. Can't do it. I don't have much money. You know what I mean? Or when Maui Intensive came, it was like, you know what? We made all this money. We're not investing in Maui Intensive. We're keeping the money. You know what I'm saying? We'll take that 42K. We won't go Maui. All in. We'll just stay a pro and keep the money. What do you think would happen? I'll tell you what would happen. There will be no way we will be where we are today. There'll just be no way. You see the difference in relationship with money? And the relationship with money, it doesn't, it's a never-ending learning thing, right? It's always going to be there because it's subconscious in your head. You just have to learn to go through it. And that's what my coach Jeffrey taught me, is that a lot of people have bad relationships, with money. And it's not their fault. You just have to be aware of how to overcome those challenges of the relationship they have with money. And like Misha was talking about how he had to get resourceful and literally, invest into his coaching. I remember Misha told me that story. He said, look, he says, I had to get uncomfortable. I have to reinvest in my coaching. He had a story about with Dagan Smith. He didn't have the money. He got resourceful, made it happen. And what do you think if Misha never, ever got that coaching? I can guarantee you there would be no super affiliate network. Think about that. See, success leaves clues. All the answers are right in front of us, but we always turn a blind eye to it because by default, our mind is designed to fail. That's why you have to get unplugged from the matrix. That's the biggest challenge. That's the biggest challenge people face.
Well, thank you. I know that everybody on this call is getting so much value from everything.
Any more questions? We got some questions. Pop them up, man. Come on, dish them out.
Any more questions, guys? Pop them in the comments. And I just wanted to throw this out there. I know we did talk a little bit about money on this call, but results not even remotely typical, and results will always vary. So success in this business requires hard work, dedication, and constant skill setting development. So I'm just going to pop in the comments after this call, just where you can go for the average earnings. It's aveearnings.com. Just wanted to make everybody aware of that.
Yeah, me and Ace are not typical. That's for sure.
Just to throw that out there.
Yeah. No, that's true. Because everybody's different, right? Everybody's different. And how they, get the information and perceive the information and how they take action, which is another thing. So, guys, you guys got me for a little while before I go, and I'm here to, invest my time and help you guys out. If you have any questions, don't be afraid to ask any questions. I don't bite. Okay. I'm here to help you. And, if you don't understand something, I could explain it in a way that in a more simplified fashion for you to understand. So you could, maybe get an aha moment, out of this tonight.
Well, Rich, you did talk. I mean, if I don't see any questions popping up, but guys, pop them in there and I will keep looking. But you did talk a lot about, the relationship around money. I know you got mentorship when you first got started, and you keep growing and you keep doing personal development. What kind of tips can you give people around that at this point in time? Because that seems to affect a lot of people.
About money? You mean with investing and stuff like that?
Your mindset.
Mindset with money.
Yeah. Investing in your business.
Yeah, you have to learn to create capital as a business owner. We learned that through the Billionaire's Breakfast and one of the live events that Super Affiliate Network had. And one thing, and I learned that also from Jeffrey. So when I heard that, it just, once again, it just made sense, is you want to always learn how to create capital. This is why when I went back to work, I didn't think about my job as a job. I thought about my job of raising capital. It's a whole different mindset, a whole different way of thinking. Now, the old Rich, when he was in Best Buy the first time around, what happened? I was at work at a job, just a regular dude, just in the band, right? Working a job, living a normal, ordinary life, right? And I was not thinking about my job as capital when I first started my business. I didn't. I thought about just having a business and working. But the second time around, when I lost everything, what changed in me? I used my job to fund my dreams. So I used my job to raise capital. Totally different way of thinking, guys. Totally different way of thinking. Most people out there will tell you, fire your boss and your 9 to 5. The reality is, no, stay with your 9 to 5. You know what I mean? That's what we tell people, you know? Please got a question here. Once unplugged for the matrix, how do we stay unplugged? Now that's a very good question. That's a very good question. Mentorship. The thing about mentorship, guys, is that we have to borrow, from the future, right? Our future selves are already successful if we make that decision. Our future selves are already successful if we want to make that decision. But we're borrowing from history because someone already walked the path before you are right now. So why wouldn't you borrow someone else's mind from what they've been through, so where you want to go? You see what I'm saying? The more you invest, the closer and closer you get to your future self of success, right? But most people, what they do is they decide not to invest in mentorship, not to invest in themselves, and they never get to find out who they can really be, their full potential, because we all have it, right? So you learn from, personal development speakers, listen to audio in the evening before you go to bed. At night's the best because you go into the subconscious mind. You wake up, first thing that you're thinking about, right? And think about the 3 things that you need to focus on, mindset-wise, business-wise, the night before. Write them down, and then that way you know the following day what you need to focus on, because it's right in front of your eyes. Okay? So the way to stay unplugged, man, is to always borrow the minds from the greats. Borrow the minds from the ones that walked the path before you. That's how you stay unplugged.
Anna says, mind-blowing.
True.
And she's got a question here for you.
Go for it.
Rich,
we're all family here.
What was your money mindset epiphany moment that shifted everything for you?
That money was a tool, and it didn't belong to me. When I realized that money was a tool and it didn't belong to me, that's when I knew that there was like infinite possibilities. Because I used to hoard everything I got because the way I was brought up. And then when I started letting things go, I realized, like, wow, well, wait a minute. I can use money as a tool? Really? Like, this is a tool. Money is a tool. And you could use it as a tool to put things together. And that really made sense to me. And then when I learned about another personal development leader, talked about money doesn't belong to you, because when you when you're working, whatever money you have, every month it has to go to your bills, right? Has to go to your car payment, your mortgage, your healthcare costs, and the list goes on and on, right? What happens with that money? It goes to that company. Then that company, the owner who's making the money, has to pay their bills. Then that gets circulated. So whatever money you make, guys, it has to leave anyways. So why not make it, leave and use it as a tool and put it into something for yourself? Let it reflect back to you, right? Isn't it? I mean, it's amazing when you think about it that way. It's like when you let it go, and you'll grow. If you don't let it go, you won't grow. It's so true. I mean, for me, it's like when I got this, I was like, wow, so the money doesn't belong to me. I got to pay my car payment. I got to pay my insurance. I got to pay my rent. I got to pay this. I got to pay that. I make more, and it goes out the door again. So does it really matter? No, it doesn't. But we have choices. We have choices. I can't tell you how much useless stuff I've paid for in the past that I could have invested in 2008. But the mindset wasn't right at that time, right? Now, when I create a lot of capital, I think about like, what can I invest into next so I can, have more value? You see? Because the more you invest in yourself, the more value you have, the more value you can give, the more attraction you have. People are attracted to people who have more value. Jim Rohn said it best. And the more value you have, the more you get paid in the marketplace. It's so true.
That's mind-blowing right there. Money's a tool.
Yeah, it is. And think about what Jim Rome said. You know, the more value you have, the more you get paid in the marketplace. It made so much sense.
Mm-hmm.
I get mind blown, man. Borrow minds from the greats. I'm telling you, mind blown.
If you guys are feeling the same as Tracy Lee says here, so much value, I'm getting there. Feels good. Awesome. Let us know. Borrow the mind. Great.
Nancy, we're all human. We really are. We're all human. We make mistakes. We're going to be imperfect. That's what Misha says. Take imperfect action. Don't worry about it. Taking no action is the worst thing you could do. Taking imperfect action is the best thing you could do. Because once you take imperfect action, you're in motion. You're in motion, right? The waves are moving now. You got motion happening. There's motion happening in your business. There's something going on. But if you take no action, there's nothing going on.
Mm-hmm.
You guys can hear my dog, right?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. He's alive tonight.
Glad it's not mine. Well, thank you so much, Rich. I was going to ask you if there was any last words of wisdom, but I think you just said it. I don't think you could have said it any better.
If you don't invest in yourself, how you expect to grow? These are the words I'm going to leave with you before we go. If you don't invest in yourself, how do you expect to grow?
Mm-hmm.
You'll never grow. You'll stay plateaued. Because you're going to reach a point, like right now, we reach a point that we're breaking through a new ceiling. And it's scary, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you know, do we worry? Yeah, we're normal. We're human. We worry. Me and Ace worry, right? But we know this feeling because we went through it before. See, when you do this, when you fail forward and take imperfect action, like Misha says over and over and over and over, it becomes a habit to fail forward when it's time for new things to, you know, come to you, right? So don't be afraid to fail forward. Don't be afraid to borrow, you know, the great minds that walk the path before you. And definitely don't be afraid to let money go, and don't be afraid to invest in yourselves, because personally, you guys are worth it. Every single one of you is worth it. The more you invest in yourself, the more you grow. Isn't that worth it? Don't invest in a job anymore. Don't invest in anybody else anymore. Invest in you.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you are your own commodity, you know?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's fantastic. So let us know, guys. We're hopping off the call. Let us know if you got value. I know you did. I'm sure lots of you got tons of value on the call. So thanks for sticking around. So Rich, we appreciate your time. You know, you're pouring all this value onto everyone tonight, and that you for sure did. So we're looking forward to seeing you again. I know you've got some pretty scary stuff going on, but I'm excited. I'm excited for you guys. That's where you need to be. You need to be in a scary spot, and that's where you grow.
Yeah, that's true.
So looking forward to yeah. So I'm sure everybody's looking forward to seeing you know, what you're up to next. So congratulations on all the success, and we'll see you on another call. A reminder for everyone, we'll be back here again 9 p.m. Eastern, unless I post otherwise. I know we have some European editions coming up soon. So look out for those. They'll be on an earlier time slot. So excited to be able to, you know, let some from the other side of the world pour some value onto this call. So cheers, everyone. We hope you had a great night. Thanks again, Rich, and thanks to Ace for letting us borrow you for the night.
You guys are welcome. My pleasure.
Take care, everyone.
Bye,
Have
guys.
a great night, and thanks for being on the call.
Thank
See you
you.
next